Sir, it's here.
Leave.
But the people, they need to...
I know what the people need.
A breakdown of everything we see in the new Project Hail Mary trailer. I'll be honest, I didn't put this outfit together for any particular reason. I just already had the bandana on and I was like, oh, I'll put a jacket on for the video. I'm not even wearing pants right now. So like, but be that as it may, let's get into the breakdown. Needless to say, there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this video. Honestly, there's a lot of spoilers in the trailer itself. So subscribe, read, or listen to the book first, and then come back and watch the video. In these 3 minutes, we see a lot of characters. Of course, Ryan Gosling as Ryland Grace, as well as Sarah Holler as Strat in the Flashbacks on Earth, and of course the AT&T girl as Ilyukna, one of the fellow crew members on the Hail Mary. But if you look in the background, you can also see the other crew member, Yao, played by Ken Leung, who you may know from Lost or as Commander Zhao in the live-action Avatar The Last Airbender. There's also 2 characters that seem to get a lot of attention in the trailer that I have yet to put a name to. We see Lionel Boyce, the actor from The Bear, who seems to be a government agent, and this guy, who seemingly has a larger role in the film. So let me know your theories down in the comments. James Ortiz, a phenomenal puppeteer and performer, is cast as Rocky, and we don't know for sure right now if he's going to be voicing him as well, but it's really awesome to see in the short glimpses of Rocky, they're combining practical and visual effects, which is the best way to do it. But that's enough of the characters. Let's actually break down every single scene in the trailer and point out references and things of importance. The trailer opens with Ryland waking up from his coma, and in the next scene we can see he remembers his name, which in the book takes a while, but obviously you can tell since from the full whiteboard of equations behind him and his change in outfits, this isn't right after he wakes up, so I'm sure we're still going to see some kind of amnesia factor at play in this movie. Ryland then moves to the control room, scrolling through the mission plan where he realizes Earth is very far away. But on the screen we also see the date, March 21st, 2032. Now there is some speculation to what this year may mean. It could be how many years have passed since he left Earth and what the Earth year is currently on. We then see Ryland climbing the ladder between the lab section and the control room, where he sees a plethora of screens used to navigate and control the Hail Mary. We see the first flashback moment with Ryland on Earth, being told by Strat and the team he's the only solution to save Earth and he needs to go on the mission. Obviously for the trailer, this conversation is cut up, and if you read the book, you know the real reason that he's being forced to go on the mission. As Strat starts monologuing about the sun dying, we get scenes of their first meeting, Ryland's classroom of his 6th graders, and our first look at astrophage, with its iconic temperature of 96.415. However, this scene is interesting because if you look at the wide shot, you see the lab is covered with zeonite tunnels around the room, meaning this scene is actually way later in the movie when he's already with Rocky. In the next few scenes, Ryland is taken into Project Hail Mary. We see a quick glimpse of a barge going through an icy ocean, but instead of this being their meeting place, I think it's a red herring and actually takes place a lot later in the movie. My theory is this scene is actually when they go break the ice caps and create more global warming to protect the Earth for a little longer, so he has more time to go and save them. But eventually he meets the whole team and learns the only star left unaffected is one. But don't ask why.
Why?
We don't know.
Finally, we get a good look at the Hail Mary itself, and it's very different. In this new design, the fuel tanks full of astrophage are on each side with the crew, lab, and control compartments right in the middle, which will change the whole plot structure of the ship breaking apart into centrifuge mode, since it wouldn't work here. Now they might just have the center itself spin like a top without being disconnected from the fuel sections, but honestly they might change that to an easier solution anyway, since I don't see how they can do that with the current setup. And we know they're still going to use the centrifuge gravity because they show it right here in the trailer. But I'll be honest, whenever I read the book, I still can't imagine how it works. Like, does it flip upside down? But then the table's upside down. So how does it go inverted? But this is where it starts getting interesting. We see the lab site explosion that kills LeBois and Shapiro that forces Ryland to take their spot. In this montage, we also see the Hail Mary launch, Ryland alone in space, and the real reaction any of us would have to this situation, lying down in a bed of empty food wrappers with a funny hat on. We quickly see the automatic medic arms that took care of them in the coma, reaching out to help him shave, and more flashbacks on the aircraft carrier with the whole team celebrating and potentially Strat doing karaoke. Now this scene in particular, I do think it's a little misleading to have Strat and Ryland f the shit out of each other. But it's definitely just sneaky editing since everyone thought they were doing it in the book anyway. We finally see Ryland in the classroom again, using the hacky sacks that he passes out whenever someone gets a question right. And right after that, we see him doing more math to predict when he'll land at his destination in the Hail Mary. In a quick flash, we also see a picture drawn by one of his students, as well as this new room that seems to be filled with screens. He seems to spend a lot of time here, where we see him looking dramatically over a video of the ocean, remembering life on Earth. Following this, we see Ryland send off his crewmates who didn't make it into space through the airlock, just like in the book. And after some more of him breaking down emotionally in that same room, it's not all bad, as we see some celebration in the hazmat suit, most likely one of his first days of experimenting on astrophage on Earth. And this. What the f is this? We get a quick scene of Ryland out in space, jumping away from the Hail Mary to catch probably the blip B from blip A. And if that makes no sense, then you probably didn't read the book, and the rest of the video also doesn't make sense, so
I'm sorry.
But finally, we get to see my main man, Rocky. As his ship approaches, we see Ryland looking out the window, which gives us a good view of the new mission patch design, which is way different from the original one here. And finally, we see the blip A, Rocky's ship, and it's dramatic. I love the design, and the scale compared to the Hail Mary is perfect. We see them connect between their airlocks and meet for the first time. And this scene confirms a lot. We see he's making video entries like Watney in The Martian to relay information for Earth, but it's also to help the audience, since in the book we know his thoughts and discoveries because he's thinking them and we're reading them. But in the movie, there had to be a narrative structure that pushed the story forward. That made sense since he's alone for a lot of the time. Also, I don't know if this is an Easter egg or important, but the shirt he's wearing here is from Hermanos Gutierrez' Blood Milk Moon, a Latin American indie song released in 2021. So do with that what you will.
Don't question it, just roll with it, tiny baby.
And in one of the more adorable moments, we see them bonding and using this screen room where you first get glimpses of Rocky's zeolite ball he gets around in. But it's not perfect, as we see Hail Mary in free orbit around the planet Adrian after all the astrophage is eaten without them knowing. But this all leads to my favorite moment in the trailer, when Rocky reaches out to the Earth hacky sack. A simple gesture that is so cute. I love how they took a simple object from the book and used it for so much more symbolism and connection for Ryland and for Rocky. But the trailer only gets better with the final scene. We get to hear what Rocky will sound like.
Thumbs up. No, that's thumbs down. You would do the thumbs up.
Now, of course, you don't get the best view, and he does sound more technology inspired and less music inspired as he was in the audiobook.
AMAZE!
Now, even though we only see a sneak peek of what Rocky will look like, it seems true to the alien rock spider aesthetic from the book, besides the green jumpsuit he wears, but there is some green pieces on his arms, so we'll have to wait and see what the real design is, because it's going on my body somewhere. A tattoo, to be clear. And I did ask Andy Weir, and he responded, so. But what are your thoughts on the trailer? Did you love it? Did they show too much? Are you excited? Did this ruin it for you? Also, if you happen to be someone who didn't read the book, I want to know your thoughts on the trailer about not really knowing anything about what's going on, and if you're still excited and if it was a good trailer or really confusing. Subscribe right now for future updates, watch my other videos, and as always, thanks for watching.